When you think of the word home, which place comes to mind? What made it dear and unique to you? When I was young, Dad would use the phrase up home, meaning Johnson City, Tennessee. That was the place which was at least two generations deep for him. It was where his parents had lived and died, where he had grown up, and where most of his relatives still lived throughout his adult life. I guess one might say that home is where one's deepest and dearest roots, experiences, and memories lie. For me, I would have to call Montgomery, Alabama, home. We arrived in Montgomery from Rome, Georgia, the city of my birth, in 1952. Although there are a few fragmented memories from the earliest years in the city, it was the Bradley Drive address that is the focal residence for my memories. Our lot of land lay in a great spot on the block, as the side borders were adjacent to neighbors' backyards, and our backyard joined four neighbors' backyards. The configuration provided the greatest separation between the houses. In that post-World War II neighborhood, most homes were spaced about 20 to 30 feet apart, and ours was more like 20, 30, 50 yards apart. Qualities that made Bradley Drive and Montgomery home were the people. First, in our family of parents and four brothers. Second, an extraordinary neighborhood of the closest friends imaginable. And third, a citywide community of school friends, musicians, a vast array of citizens, and church members. Our three-bedroom home housed the six of us in the 950 square foot area. After several years, we followed the neighborhood trend and closed in our exterior porch, making a small fourth bedroom just off the living room, with a doorway cut through the back wall of the porch into the closet of the existing back bedroom. From this home base, the family ventured forth into very busy lives. Dad's career as an optician kept him busy for an entire lifetime. Mom had a variety of jobs, primarily in the radio television business and later in state government. Both parents worked full-time until retirement late in life. The 1950s and 60s were often thought of as an ideal period of American history when living the American lifestyle was fulfilled. Our Bradley Drive and Oak Forest Drive loop was truly everything conceived as the perfect community. Most of the fathers had been servicemen during World War II and possibly the Korean conflict a few years later. They married and began raising families, settling into the affordable housing of our kind of dwellings. Virtually every family owned at least one car or truck. Many owned two vehicles. We lived on Bradley Drive a couple of years before we bought our first car, a 1947 Kaiser purchased for $50. Prior to the Kaiser, Dad had taken the bus downtown to work, and Mom would ride in with one of the neighbors. The brothers would use a token to ride the city bus to school, walk, or occasionally catch a ride with a school friend. The bustling families on our block created an interaction that in many instances served as an extended family and in some cases grew into relationships that truly were as family and endured for a lifetime. Pat Locker, Willie Butler, and George Hammett Sr. were often referred to as the Three Musketeers. They interacted as brothers for 50 years. The children of these particular families were more like sisters and brothers than mere neighbors. Each family had multiple children, And on the two streets on Bradley Drive and Oak Forest, there must have been at least 100 kids playing together, biking, skating, roaming the woods, and attending the many school functions occupied our lives extensively. Of course, there was a goodly amount of mischief shared among that group. With both parents involved in rather public professions, we had opportunities to meet and know many leading members of the community, politicians, and even celebrities on occasion. The two air bases in the city attracted a large number of high ranking military families, well educated folks that helped strengthen our community, especially our schools, with sharp, well disciplined students. The well paid officers of the military brought a good supply of dollars into the local economy. Our schools were excellent citywide, with Robert E. Lee often setting new standards of success and high goals. I learned much later in life that the Hammett brothers were somewhat of a legend throughout the state of Alabama with their outstanding standards of musical activities. I had always thought everyone did what we did in music, since all of our friends were in the band or chorus, and all participated in all state activities and extracurricular music events. We played professional level programs and dances with the Southern Air School Dance Band, and other professional opportunities were constantly available for Willie, Ken, and George with local bands and ensembles. I simply don't know how life could have been much better for our post Great Depression, post World War II family, who grew out of the lower financial and social rankings of society into rather prominent social, community, and educational circles. We were indeed living the American dream. Along the way in the early 1950s, we still lived in the Oak Park section of town. We became affiliated with Oak Park Presbyterian Church, a small neighborhood church with a long and conservative tradition. The values instilled in us there have lasted and grown for a lifetime, trusting all will lead into eternity. Life has blossomed more than anyone could have imagined 60 years ago, and writings in this collection will visit those stories. Home, however, remains in that little Montgomery neighborhood from long ago.